Hello, everybody, and welcome along to a very, very special video. Not only is it Christmas special, it's a Patreon special. So for once, we're going to stick one of the Patreon videos down the main channel. And probably the favorite thing we do on Patreon now is the roundtables. So if you do sign up, this is the kind of laughs we have. We get together on a sort of monthly basis with our motley crew of regulars, which I'm going to introduce you to right now. But it's really good because we've got a great sort of spread of different fans of different teams. Obviously, we skew massively, heavily Championship, apart from two of our number who were very clever and their teams got promoted. But we can forgive them that. So, Lee Pitts, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
I'm Lee Pitts. My reputation precedes me, and I support the glorious Sheffield United.
And whatever story you tell in that accent just becomes funny, doesn't it?
Usually, or sad.
In the top, I don't know how people are seeing this. And next to Lee is channel legend Russell, who is our sponsor of our review shows as well. Russ, how you doing? You're very much in my good books after this beautiful present you sent my daughter. I'm sure mine is going to be arriving tomorrow. Yeah, but how you doing, Russ?
I'm all good. It's not complete misery. Didn't have a loss to deal with, so
here we go.
That's it, isn't it? There we go. Oh, because my team wins occasionally now.
Hey, we'll get onto that. A winning streak, no less. Hey, below Russ is representing the West Midlands is John, the Blue Nose. How you doing, John?
I'm good. Glutton for punishment, Blue Nose, yes.
Absolutely. Well, it could have been worse. Fulham away cancelled, I guess.
It's kind of weird because Fulham away is actually an away day Blues fans really look forward to. We always take a massive following, but
everybody does, don't they?
Yeah, the general feeling on social media when it was announced it was cancelled was, at least we don't lose on Boxing Day.
There you go. Actually, we'll talk about this on Christmas Memories. I think Ipswich are quite bad on Boxing Day. I think there's probably quite a few teams that say that. Bad? In the middle, representing the Super Hoops of QPR, Dave. How you doing, Dave? Down in Somerset. Cornwall, Dorset. I can never remember. How you doing, fella?
Side of country. I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Side of country. Honestly, I'm stressed out. I'll tell you why in a minute, because if I described what happened during my day, you literally couldn't make it up with these postponements and me writing stuff about games that then get postponed, then rewriting stuff about new games that then get postponed. And anyway, beneath me, only figuratively on the screen here, he's on a higher intelligence plane than the rest of us. Pete, the Brentford fan. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing absolutely fine. Clearly crushed by our Chelsea defeat last night. A loss to a far better team, but, I guess one just has to take that on the chin.
Look how things have changed, hey? He's complaining about losing to Chelsea now. I'd just like to even be anywhere near him. Down the bottom, we've got a special guest. He's a channel legend. He's not on the Patreon. Of course, he's too young for all of that. And we're going to look after him very responsibly. But please, a big welcome, and we're going to be nice to him, to Anir, the Bristol City fan. Anir, your legend goes before you. This has to be good now. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fine. Great to be on. First time I've actually met Russ. I didn't expect
Feels like you've known him for about 100 years, right?
Yeah, I did not expect him to have a beard, honestly.
No.
And
it's a good beard. Less grey than mine.
Yeah, it is quite a good beard. That is a fact. All day long. That is a fact.
Tremendous stuff.
It's great to be on.
No, it's great to have you here. Right. So the plan is we're going to talk about our teams, but with reference to Christmas, so to speak. So there's going to be a few bits and bobs from each of the guys about their team, and then some sort of general Christmas memories. We're putting this down the YouTube, so remember, guys, in your comments, I am the Cockshaw YouTuber. You can be mean to me in the comments, but all of these guys are my Patreons, and I will not tolerate any mean comments about them. Okay, they.
I mean, I'm a mod, so to be honest, go for it. I'll just take you out.
He'll just delete them all. Yeah, he'll delete them all. But no, you understand my point. We're putting this out on YouTube. These boys, we've all become friends. So obviously, spare them what I normally get. Let's go to John first, because I suspect he's got quite a long list. Feels like Birmingham, John. We were here a couple of months ago with this need to reorganize everything and go in not a new direction but a slightly different direction. What do you want for Christmas for Blues? Because it looks like more of a muddle now, doesn't it? Again,
new owners, more players, more money.
Access
the
to a stadium.
Safety certificate for the bottom.
Deal work.
Yeah. So no. To be honest, it's hard to criticise the manager in anything. We've just had horrendous injuries and suspensions. I mean, we've only really got 3 central midfielders in Woods, Gardner, and Sunich, and of course Gardner got sent off, and he had been sent off previously, so 4-game ban. And then the first game that he was suspended for, Woods got sent off against Cov, which, I think
the source of much debate, that red card, wasn't it?
Well, I remember I was at the last home game we were at. Cardiff basically did a worse tackle on Riley McGree, kind of going straight through, and the crowd, as you could imagine, were baying for a red card, and the referee gave a yellow, and it just incensed everyone. And even Bowyer went absolutely ballistic on the touchline. So, no, I think it's injuries. Injuries have been the killer for us, really. We've just sort of missed too many players. Chong is huge miss for us. Chong is just, there's no replacing him. I mean, McGree's come in and he's done well, but he isn't Chong. And I mean, the good news is Chong is apparently ahead of schedule. So he was meant to be back end of Feb, and they say he's ahead of schedule. So we might see him before that. So, which will be a huge plus point. But we need players in January. But from what I can hear is there's not a lot of money to spend. So,
can you talk about Deeney just quickly, John? Because a lot of
he doesn't do that much often,
follow him. But 2 games in a row, 2 absolute worldy goals. Is he getting there now?
We still don't really utilise him. At times, it frustrates the hell out of me that we play like he's Jukovic at times still, and we're just against Blackburn, prime example, we just lump the ball to him, and it's like, he'll win his fair share, but he's not Jukovic. If you play to Deeney's feet or to his chest, he's a far better player than a lot of people in this division. And to be fair, I think he's got fitter. Him and Hogan struck up a really nice partnership, but Hogan's sort of gone a little bit cold as he does. And Deeney's obviously scored a few recently, but when we play to Deeney's strengths, we're a better side. But it's that link ball. It's the ball from midfield to Deeney. Other than McGree, and McGree's hot and cold, we struggle when obviously we don't have that link and Deeney doesn't get the ball, and he gets frustrated himself. I mean, he was a picture of frustration against Blackburn, to be honest.
Absolutely. I'm just interested, guys. Can I just do a quick sweep around just on that topic of the Woods red card? Because I think in the end that will become a red card. The stopping the counter attack, tripping someone. I think there was one in the Euros for Denmark, possibly. Lee, yes or no? Should stopping a counter attack be a red card? Is it that much worse than denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity?
No.
Russ?
And no.
Difficult on terms of it is, I think you've got to have the contextual of if it's a cynical foul on the basis that there's no attempt to play the ball. I think that's where that element is. If it's just to stop a counter attack, or essentially if they've gone in, they make it look as if they put a genuine attempt to win the ball and essentially just clip them and then they go. I think it will end up becoming a smarter foul. I know Man City are essentially the masters at it, but the smarter foul of, okay, I made it look like that. I made it look like I've tried to go for the ball. And obviously the context of if there's anything else around and all things like that. But it's a hard one to say yes. It's a hard one to say yes. I would say yes if there is no genuine attempt.
What do you think, Dave?
In the end.
Cheers, mate.
To be honest, no. It's always been a part of the game. It's like, and plus the fact Stefan Johansson might be in a bit of trouble if that comes to him.
I thought, is he going to go down the everyone keeps fouling chair angle, or is he going to defend Steph Johansson? He's gone all in on Steph Johansson. What do you think, Pete?
I just think it's a really good question because I think it's the new diving. And I'm really conflicted as well because Brentford, having been very soft, are now doing this an awful lot. Every time they see danger happening on a break, they will stop the person going forward and not even in a clever way, which is why we're getting so many yellow cards. So if we really want to encourage, forward football and teams being allowed to break, I think it's got to be stamped out at some point. And obviously a red card would be the way to do it. So I think there's got to be a decent attempt to get the ball.
I would say yes, it should be a red card, just purely because once potentially a team gets to the next phase and gets past a defender and gets a goal scoring opportunity, then it's a red card. Once you wipe out someone and it's a clear goal scoring opportunity, it's a red card. I don't understand why it's not the same when it's normally one phase before that. So yeah, I'd say it should be a red card. That's
the argument, isn't it? We'll say they've got plenty to sort out beforehand. Lee and Paul Heckingbottom's turned into Pep Guardiola, right? What do you want for Christmas at Blades? Have you already got what you wanted?
Sort of. Well, you know what? Actually, despite everything, and I'll keep it short, despite everything I think I said in the past.
Here comes the 360, John.
Yes and no. Well, no. Yes and no, because I didn't want Jukanovic to fail because he's my team's manager. I don't want him to fail. I want him to be a success. What I wanted him to do was make an assessment of the players we had available and what the way that they played, and make an assessment as to, okay, if these players aren't used to playing this way, a whole shift change in one go ain't going to work. You make an incremental change. The problem was he'd have 3 at the back, he'd have 4 at the back, he'd have 5 at the back, and the problem was with no consistency. And in fairness to him, because of COVID in the pre-season, he didn't have time to implement that properly. So he was working it out as he went. You could see that. Now, I didn't want him to fail. And in the long term, in normal circumstances, maybe it might have worked. But I think his problem was that he's so set in his ways that this is how he plays. And the narrative amongst Blades fans is, well, he was promised wingers and he didn't get wingers. Well, I don't like our board of directors. However, you can never make a promise that you're going to sign the players that you want, because it's not a one-way thing. It's a two-way deal. Well, it's a three-way deal. There's the selling club and there's also the buying club and there's the player. The player might not want to come and you might not have the money. So you need to adapt. And he stuck his heels in. So there's an element of me feels a little bit sorry for him. There's an element of me thinks, what a waste of money. So why did we do all this in the first place?
And how long the contract was, Lee?
I think 3 years.
Did they have break clauses before 6 months, some of them?
Don't know. Because he was on a big contract.
Paul Hurst definitely had one.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I cannot believe, because I saw Dean Henderson play for United and I saw Aaron Ramsdale. And when I saw Ramsdale, he's a better quality keeper than Henderson. And all these fans were saying, well, he got relegated. He was a player of the season at Wimbledon when he was on loan. He was a player of the season at United. He was a player of the season at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He's an excellent player. And we've sold him to Arsenal. And was there anything in his contracts about bonuses if he plays for England? No. Well done. Great business sense. I could have told you he'd play for England because he's one of the best keepers I've seen at United for a long time. And I've seen Dean Henderson and I've seen a whole string of keepers. What do I want for Christmas? Well, in a strange landscape that we're in, actually, no signings, just a fit squad. I'd like Sander Berg, who's coming back, and I like the fact that they're bringing him back slowly, because when he came on the other night, when you really watch football and analyse, it's not just about the mazy runs. People are screaming about Bogle. He's beat 3 players. He beat 4 players. That's great. No, I watch a player when he gets the ball. Does he lose it? Berg never loses it. Does he create something? If he can, but he plays you might say the safe. He never loses the ball. He never loses the ball. And if we get him back fit and playing the way that our defence is comfortable with, the problem was under Jukanovic, because the defence didn't know where to be.
This was I'll keep it short, by the way.
Sorry.
It sounds good in that accent, though, doesn't it?
No, but when because he didn't know, because the defenders didn't know what they were doing, the midfielders were isolated. So it was you'd have 2, and they didn't know if they were dropping back. They didn't know if they were going forward. They were going side. So the midfield had no chance to be progressive. And if they were progressive, we were caught out. Heckingbottom, honestly, do I think he's a 4-year term manager? No. It feels nice to win some games, but do I think he's the manager for us long term? No, but he's the type of guy who's clearly gone, I know what works. I'm not daft. We're not signing anybody. We're going to play some under-23s. So you might as well play the way that the entire club has been built on what Wilder left, which was the under-18s, the under-23s, and the first team squad. And it works. Hence Middlesbrough being now a very good football team. So didn't want to say I told you so. I told you so.
But you're going to say I told you so.
But I told you so. I told you so.
I tell you, new manager bounce.
But
yeah, I was going to say that, John. If only there was a colloquial football term to describe disproportionate rise in form after a new manager.
What, interestingly, and I'll wrap this up. But interestingly, in the local press, they interviewed Billy Sharp, and they said, "What do you think the turnaround?"
Billy Sharp was superb against Fulham. Really,
because Billy Sharp.
I thought he was going to be pegged by 60 minutes. So I said that on my watch along. He's done. He can't run like that for 90 minutes.
He's 35 and he's as fit as he was when he was 28. And his footballing brain. Yeah, his footballing brain is excellent. And he's a little bit like, and I hate to say it, players you were mentioning earlier about taking a foul. He's a little bit like Mark Hughes. He'll commit a foul, but in such a way that it's
Billy
not
Sharp
a foul.
is the nice face of Schauhauser, isn't he?
Completely.
He somehow gets away with it, doesn't he? Because he's
Championship's greatest ever striker. Give him this season, he'll have more goals than anybody else in the Championship. Greatest ever striker and a footballing brain. But what he did say in the press was, and they said to him, "What's changed?" And interestingly enough, he said that the training, and Sharp's one of those to speak up, that players. The training was fairly easy and not intense under Jukanovic. And what he said is now it's back to where it was before. Because Wilder used to say, if you didn't train and you don't work, it's a bare minimum as a Sheffield United player running about. You don't get plaudits for running about. It's a minimum. And Heckingbottom's brought that back.
I would quote Roy Keane. It's your job. There we go.
It's your job.
Dave in the middle. QPR. We've got no idea what's about to happen because we don't know who's been isolated and we don't know who's fit. We don't know who's got short COVID, long COVID, Omicron, Delta, whatever. But you're still in a good position, aren't you, for the playoffs? I know you're very worried about the AFCON because you keep talking about that. But what do you want for Christmas other than Chair to get knocked out the AFCON in the first qualifying rounds? Yeah,
play a game would be nice. That'd be nice. I am really worried about obviously Chair and Iain. Not so much Kakai, but Chair and especially Chair going off to the AFCON. And Mucko have got quite a good team as well, so I can see them going pretty far in that tournament, to be quite honest with you. But there has been a link with a Jack Rudani from Wimbledon, who's supposed to be a really good young midfielder. So there's a possibility that if Chair does stay away for a while, that we could be getting him in as his replacement.
Is there money there then, Dave?
Well, it's strange because we got told at the fan tour and what happened that by Ferdinand that basically we was primarily going to go for, if we did sign anyone, it'd be loan signings basically. But I think now obviously what's gone on, and obviously with the possibility of chair being missing for a long time, I can see us spending some money in January.
I wonder if they also look at it from the essential loaned with the option to buy or loan with an obligation to buy in the summer. So that could be, because obviously League One is still suffering monetary wise, and especially if we see COVID go crazy again and we get a lockdown or behind
no one will
closed
loan
doors.
anyone, Russ, will they?
Well, will they? Will they? Because if they have no income, if we go back to behind closed doors and they say, right, see the season out, our clubs in League One and League Two, not trying to be derogatory here, but are they going to miss that income again so much that they need to turn around and say, right, someone's got to go? And even if they know that that's going to be money later on down the line, it could be that. So there could be a couple of players.
I don't think you need to look down to League One, do you? Because that'll affect the Championship as well, surely.
Yeah, that's why I say League One and Two will be.
Everyone's skin.
Yeah, but Championship. The difference is, League One teams run on a deficit, trying to keep their head above water. Championship clubs run on a massive deficit, on a dream that will probably not happen.
On different FFP rules as well, where there's no hard and fast number.
By the way.
It's relative to turnover as well. But Dave, is there anything? I know you're quite in the know about the stadium. Is that not going well, the Linford Christie?
That's all I've heard about that is literally they're going to have meetings with the Amherst and Fulham Borough Council about that. But it's a no-brainer. I mean, if you look at I don't know if anyone here knows it, but like the Christie Stadium, it's run down. It's almost like in a state of disrepair. Why won't they just say, right, here you go, you can have the stadium, knock it down, build your stadium. And there was other than that, the stadium itself, there was plans there by Rangers to put like pitches for community there, like football pitches and other facilities. It'd be a no-brainer for me.
I'd miss the KP, I have to say, but there we go. Right.
But the thing is, Ben, it's already been said by Lee Hughes at the again at the fans forum. It's not financially viable to stay there.
No. And it's a very, very nice bit of land for whoever buys it in the middle of Shepherd's Bush, isn't it? As well?
Dave, where is the new stadium?
Hopefully. So basically, the Linford Christie Stadium is basically on Wormwood Scrubs.
Right.
So
where's that for the uninitiated, Dave? I know Pete lives down there, so he knows exactly where it is.
But it's So Pete, you will know. So, but it's still within the borough. Do you know what I mean? Because if they don't get a site soon within the borough, we're not going to be able to stay in the borough anymore. We're going to have to move somewhere out of the borough, and that would be, all the history.
Dave, can I still buy Wagamama at Westfield and walk to the ground though?
No.
Disappointing.
No,
Disappointing. I hope that was raised in the discussions here.
Do you know what though? There was a site. I don't know if anyone knows it, but there was the site. When you come out of Southwark Road, you turn right and you go up to where the White City train station is, the underground.
Yeah.
Behind that, you've got Dairy Crest, the whole dairy factory there, and it's got quite a bit of land there. And then about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, we got offered the chance to actually buy that land to perhaps build a stadium on there.
Who were the owners then? Was it Briatore and the Tony Fernandez?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. But why they didn't do it at that time, that'd have been ideal. You know what I mean? But they didn't do it, so...
Dave, your owners have been even more bent than my owners. Which is
allegedly, we're on YouTube.
Allegedly. So can I say congratulations? I feel like we've got a kindred spirit. Can I just say, interesting story? An ex-Sheffield United chairman used to dress up in disguise to come to the lane, and we had two chairmen, this is not allegedly, who will want to buy Interpol. That's what made me fall in love with my club, and that's a true story.
Russ, can you just show us the bottom of your pint glass, please?
He's been trying.
Yes,
Just-
he has.
Show us the bottom of your pint glass. And
Well, which
Pete,
one?
do you remember when Buster Douglas fought Mike Tyson and everyone sponsored the bottom of Buster Douglas
That's disgraceful.
boxing boots because they thought he was going to be flat on his back? There we go.
No wonder he's sad when he gets to the bottom. Yeah, the
Right.
answers
Norwich
definitely
City
aren't the bottom of
crest.
that glass.
The mythos glass is unfortunately currently drying, and I wasn't been able to find a tea towel. It wasn't happening.
Oh.
So
That's the saddest thing I've ever seen.
I've just gone lazy and thought, sod it. I've picked a pint glass, and that's it. I've got about 3 glasses in there.
Disgraceful.
I'm sure we
Right.
agreed last episode that we needed to augment the merch by having
That's-
Ben
yeah.
doing beer tankards.
Pete,
Yeah.
do you want a job? Can you sort out the? Can you sort out the?
I'm still waiting.
Sort
I'm
out the
still
merch store.
the Blue Monday mug. I'm not.
I know.
I'm not happy. There's a Blue Monday mug I was promised. I don't even want
I
it.
thought
Are
I
you-
was
are
waiting
you-
for
hey,
Anir
Russ,
to
Russ,
besmirch my
are you
good
ang-
name and character, not you, Russell.
Russ, are you angry because the council have cut your hair this morning? Is that what it is?
The councillor cut me hair. The councillor cut my hair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, look at yours. You're really going to
putting-
turn around
Hey,
and come up
hey,
here.
Hey, I'm a beautiful man for my age. Yeah, not many
Yeah.
wrinkles on this face, pal.
No, but to be honest,
Anyway,
for
I've sent you,
for
I've sent you a message. Reply
for
to
six-
me.
I've,
You're
I've
ignorant.
never wanted to hear
You're
about
60
Bristol
you
City
look good.
more in my life than right now.
and look at them next
Nobody-
to each
Nobody's
other.
ever wanted
Look
to
at
hear
them.
about Bristol City this much.
Hang on.
Right, who have
look
we
who's
heard
next to
from?
each other.
Right, we've heard about Birmingham, we've heard about Rangers, we've heard about Blades. We're going to go Anir. We're going to let
Annie's in a
Russ
Mark
come.
Ashton. Hang on. Annie's
Oh,
in a
you
Mark
have. Oh,
Ashton sandwich.
Anir, he's mentioned Mark Ashton. Oh no.
I'm Mark Ashton.
And you moaned at me earlier.
I'm Mark.
I'm Mark Ashton.
Yeah,
This-
John. Honestly, I just expect better from you than Russ. I know what he's like. That's the thing. Hey,
I just
and
like.
look,
My
Annie's
bottom
just
full
getting
of Mark Ashton
PTSD now.
excuses.
You've mentioned his name, haven't you? Anir, tell us about Bristol City. A little bit erratic, but some really good youngsters coming in there. What do you want? Please don't mention Harley Dean because you're really going to tick John off. Although it looks like he's quite keen on that sale. Annie, what do
to
you
be
want for
fair-
Christmas for
driving.
City?
I put a
Harley
tweet out saying a back three of Harley Dean, Thomas Cass, and Rob Atkinson could be pretty good. Honestly, the replies and DMs, yeah. But then, we need some consistency. First of all, I don't know. Would I rather the home form be good, or would I rather the away form be good? I'm not 100% sold on it yet. It's positive we're getting results at home finally. I know we lost against Huddersfield, but one thing I want for Christmas, a striker. I just don't think Chris Martin at the moment is producing to what we kind of need in terms of progressing into the middle of the league. And even though we have Naki Wells who is not firing. Even every time he does start, he just doesn't really look a threat. I know he scored a late winner at QPR, which I was very happy about. But apart
Dave,
from
can we
that,
get your thoughts on that?
no,
I wasn't happy about that. But yeah, Naki, it will. I reckon he's probably having a bad spell, but if he can get a goal, even it's with all strikers, if they're low on confidence, then they're going to find it hard. But if they get any type of goal, even if it's a fluky goal, they'll take one, and then they might go on and run and score. And how many other goals? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't lose faith in him just yet.
Annie, would you take a striker from League One? Would you take a Cole Stockton or a Luke Jeffcott or someone of that nature? Is he going to answer? He's frozen.
He's done a league.
Why
Why you've
Pitsy.
been
Well,
taken
Pitsy.
over?
He's done a Pitsy. Disgraceful behaviour.
Let's give him 5 more seconds. We must let him answer that question, though. Pete, get ready to talk about Brentford. We'll see if Annie returns.
Yeah, I can talk up earlier because if he wants a striker, we've got Marcus Force. So
Oh, player.
He's too good. For us.
you're talking about clubs not wanting to loan out players, but we've got 2 or 3 that either we're not playing or like Marcus Force is just not quite rated in the Premiership. He was a wonderful loanee at Wimbledon in League One before he got
I saw him
injured.
score at Milton Keynes, Pete, for Wimbledon.
He's the most fantastic finisher But his issue is he needs regular game time to develop. He's got something like a 6-year contract with us, but he's not.
That's the most
the
Brentford thing possible
to be able to get enough minutes.
Pete, don't you agree? That's the most Brentford thing possible. A 6-year contract.
It's not. Yeah, but the thing is, he's been tried. But he and Tony, while they have reasonably good communication up front, are just not good enough together in the Premiership, as compared to Mbeumo and Tony. So, So we've definitely got Marcus Force, who I'm pretty certain is being put out on loan, for the benefit of all parties. So a good Championship club is exactly what we need. And people have talked about Middlesbrough or Nottingham Forest as maybe a possible place for him to go. Then we've also got Joel Valencia, who just doesn't seem to sort of sniff our squad. But last time he played a league match for us, scored a beautiful volley straight into the net. And then we've got Tariq Fosu, who ate up lots of the Championship last year. He was a major force in helping us get promoted. And again, he's not trusted in the Premiership. So maybe 3 players there that might get loaned out.
Great shouts.
You can have Oliver Burke if you want.
See, Oliver Burke's a good player. Shall we go to Russ and hear about Norwich? We'll see if Anir returns. I don't know if his internet's down. And then I want to hear properly from Pete about Brentford, our highest ranking team. But Russ, you're happy now with Dean Smith, aren't you? And be interested actually to get Pete's view on Dean Smith at Norwich as well. Russ, I have issues with Norwich having a likeable manager. Daniel Farke was always a glorious house, wasn't he? You knew he was good, but he knew he was good as well, didn't he? What do you want for Christmas, Russ?
I'm conflicted. I want goals, but I also want to win £1,000. I'm conflicted. Lee will sit there. He'll say no. He won't veto this for us. Every time we play, I get a text. If we haven't scored with 15 minutes to go, don't score. Cheers.
On for 1,500 quid. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No,
I've never spent so. Can I just say I've never spent so much time. This true story. The other week, I spent time working out the number of goals per game average from Norwich so far this season. And about 10 minutes later, Russ sent me a message saying, we're on 0.5 per game. You need 0.47. I was like, oh, yeah, come on, we're getting there. 1,500.
Vice versa. We're on 0.47 a game. We need 0.5 for the rest of the season, and we're all right. Yeah, like I say, obviously, it's the football itself has changed.
How so, Russ?
It's not essentially the style of football, but suddenly we're pressing higher up the pitch. We're pressing with more of an intensity. There's like a belief. There's suddenly a belief that's coming, and of course the win against Brentford. Obviously, sorry, Pete, but the win against Brentford.
No, not at all. You deserved it, Russ.
But I say, just trying to say that, not trying to rub it in or anything. But in terms of how it was, I say that obviously instilled some belief. We then obviously got the win against Southampton, which was fortunate. I think it was one of those games that, to be honest, if Southampton had taken all the chances, they'd have battered us. Wolves, to be honest, we played really, really well. Newcastle,
I should have won that one. We were
shocking. We were shocking. We were absolutely shocking in terms of it. And then we went to Spurs and we lost 3-0 and we lost to quality. We lost to obviously moments of quality, and we turned around and we walked away. And a few people were like, oh, we're not good enough. We're not this. I'm like, we've had 3 good chances to score a goal and not scored any. So we need to start taking our chances. And whether that's a striker, whether that's a midfielder that can turn around and supply, I don't know, but I don't believe there's a lot of money that's going to be given to the club in respect of it. But in terms of what we want, like I say, we just want to keep the dignity. Can I
tell you from past experience? And I saw this before, Russ, because I watch some other channels and whatever. But you could spend 10 million, spend 15, you can spend 20 million. It's about that player taking those chances. And to be
Yes.
honest, before the season started, you losing to Tottenham, well, that's okay. I know
No,
it's
exactly.
horrible to say, but you take that as a given.
Yeah.
If you sneak a point, okay, fair enough. I wouldn't be worried about Spurs. I would be thinking, okay, you beat Southampton, you did.
Yeah.
It's a good result. That's the game that's important. You've got yourself from a position where the season was dead and nobody externally from Norwich thought you had a chance. And games are full of ifs and buts, and if we'd taken our chances. Well, if we'd taken our chances, we'd still be in the Premiership. So ifs and buts and maybes.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you've gone from not having a chance to having a chance.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how
And
it
losing
seems,
to
Russ.
Spurs, and it doesn't matter if you lose 2-0, 3-0, 5-0.
No, exactly.
The next game, you don't matter. If you lose, you get no points, and it don't matter how many goals. If you win, you get 3 points.
Yeah.
Before you finish, Russ, welcome back, Anir, and we'll come back to you after Russ has finished with Norwich.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Lee's saying, and I say in terms of it, in terms of what I wish is to maintain that dignity. We've gone into games now where we're not expecting anything, but there's a change in emphasis of, do you know what? We're a Premier League club. We're here because we got promoted, rather than we're on the guided tour and this is where we all are. And I want to turn around and I want to see us continue that with that emphasis of let's give it a go, let's turn around and keep it, but also turn round and essentially just keep up those performances and try and make out that we do belong here. It's just purely and simply that's what's changed, and that's what the feel is of. We're not walking into a game. You look at the United game. To be honest, we were unfortunate not to win it. I know we lost, but we were unfortunate not to end up winning it, let alone losing it. The Villa game, we were awful, dreadful, absolutely pathetic. But when we then turn round, shut up, John. Then we turn round. We then turn round, like saying, you look at it, but that disappointment. I'm glad that there's disappointment rather than we were going into with Farker and sitting there and just saying we expect to lose. We don't expect anything. Now we've got that dignity of no, we're giving it a go. So as long as they can keep that, I mean, if we can get that bit more quality in January, that can potentially help us convert those chances, help us get those goals. Who knows?
Can I just quickly ask you about Farker, Russ? Because I thought some of the football he coached was really, really good. Where do you think he'll end up?
Well, he was supposed to be going to Besiktas, but
that'd have been a good gig for him, wouldn't it?
He turned it down supposedly because he didn't see it as a long enough term project, and I can understand that. But he didn't see it as a long enough term project, and like I say, so. Wherever he goes, I hope he gets a good job in terms of. I don't want to see him back in the Championship. I don't want to turn around and come against him. That man, I'll always be grateful. 2 brilliant seasons. The Premier League itself, he didn't quite crack it. I really wanted him to succeed. It didn't happen. But yeah, like I say, a good job in the Bundesliga. I could see him getting and building something good over there.
Agreed.
Anir,
let's come back.
Can I just say, what would that be
ahead,
like if you had a brilliant manager, one of the best in Championship history, who changed the landscape of football, and then he went to another Championship club? I can only imagine what that must feel like.
You still love him, don't you, Lee? You still love him. Anir, I think we've got you back. We just got to the point. Pete had made a good point after you went off about whether Bristol City would take a lone striker from the Premier League like a Marcus Force, or sign a good League One striker like Cole Stockton or Luke Jeffcott or someone. Obviously, you've got, sort of Rob Atkinson came from the division down. What would you kind of like to see in terms of signings if you do bring a striker in?
We were linked with that striker from Accrington, I believe.
Bishop.
No, the other one, Dion Charles.
Dion Charles, he could play. Yeah, both good players, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently Accrington wanted a bit too much money for him.
They always get good money, especially from Ipswich.
Well, we know that. So I don't. Apart from that, I can't really see anyone else coming in. We were linked with Michael Smith for a bit, but he's flying high with Rotherham. Why would he want to leave at this point? Yeah, probably the second option is a lone striker from the Premier League and Marcus Force, a Liam Delap. Whoever really is not cutting it at the starting 11 or even getting into the squad, I think that is the kind of striker we will need. But Nigel Pearson is very specific in terms of who we want to bring in and not bring in players because we need to bring in players. He only brings in players who fit what Pearson wants to do at City, and that's generally been the kind of thing that's been going on. That's why we signed Matty James and Andy King, because they know what Pearson wants from them. They know what Pearson wants from the team, and when a player like a Michael Smith may not want to leave Rotherham, I can't because of the fact that Nigel Pearson is very specific about what he wants. I don't really see who would want to come to City at this point, because a lot of clubs in the Championship, especially, want a striker.
West Brom are in. That's the plum move, isn't it? Create loads of chances.
Oh, we know what Daryl Dike will say about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't really see many players wanting to come to City, and even if the Nigel Pearson factor is probably an important one, maybe other overriding aspects of the deal will be like, no, maybe Bristol City isn't the option.
What do you think to that, John? Do you think Birmingham and Bristol City are essentially competing for the same sort of players now?
It's hard to tell, really, because obviously, if we can shift Harley Dean to Bristol, we'll free up a rather large amount of our wage bill. But yeah, the other thing is, to be fair, I don't think us and Bristol are looking for the same sort of players. They clearly need a striker. I don't think we'll be looking for a forward, personally. We need number 10s, midfielders, and probably defenders, to be honest. I'd love us to sign wing backs, but yeah, I would say probably from a finance point of view, yeah, we're probably on the same sort of playing field, but I don't think we're in for the same sort of players.
I'm really interested. Sorry, Anir. I'll have to do a deep dive on this. How wing-backs and wingers convert into wing-backs. It used to be that wingers never became wing-backs, but now literally every wing-back in the Championship is a winger that used to be a winger who's now a wing-back. Anyway, I'll do some research on that. Pete, sorry, you've been very, very patient. Talk to us about Brentford, because I take it you're probably a little less giddy than you were after that brilliant start. And how do you see things moving on now? A little bit closer to the relegation zone, and I think the new season bounce is over now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd react positively to your choice of words, Ben. There were things we got absolutely right at the start, and that we needed to remember during our sort of 4 to 5 game losing run. And that was that we had a really solid midfield, which was our protection for our defence. And if we get back to doing that and get back to sort of draws like we had against Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, which were really solid, that's what we've got to do going forward. 20 points from 16 games doesn't mean we're relegation fodder if we keep on knocking up, as you've put it, that target of a point a game, however it is you accrue it. So that's what we got to get back to. Plus, we've got a massive upside in terms of the numbers of players we might have returning from injury. The more recent injuries of Raya in goal and Aja, our fantastic signing at right back. We've got Josh De Silva coming back from a long time out. These players are going to make a huge difference. So I think there's a lot of optimism there. but obviously we mustn't be complacent. So I don't think it's about having lost on, our new season shine. I'm sure that, wins against West Ham and Wolves were slightly flattering to us. But, fantastic to have got those points in the bag, including a fairly lucky win against Everton. So, 3 points from any wins are worth banking. So we got a very good, starting point for the rest of the season. So I'm not putting it quite as black and white as you were putting it, Ben.
What's your view, Pete, on all of this? There's lots of Ivan Toney nonsense going on. It's like the Premier League fans were about 3 years behind the rest of us in realising that Ivan Toney's actually good. But there's lots of links. Can you see anything in that in January, or is that going to be more a
I don't think there's any way that Ivan Toney's going to leave. But I think Brentford at the moment, now that they've been, shall we say, found out by the rest of the Premiership, i.e. the rest of the Premiership are going to be doing a lot more preparation before they play us. We have got to find a way to make more use of him, because at the moment we're not getting it right. Teams have worked out they've got to stop us getting the out ball from defence. And when they do that and press us really toughly, we have reverted to long balls up to Toney, which is fairly pointless, really. And unless Mbeumo, plays off him nicely, it's not getting very far, and obviously you've seen that with the very small number of goals that Toney scored. So we've got to find, we haven't suffered as much by Toney not playing as people might have thought we might have done. So we need a better solution when he is playing.
100%. Right. Have we lost Anir again? I'm sure he'll be back. Sorry. If you see me mute you, I'm just trying to find that annoying noise that will no doubt be pointed out on YouTube.
It's how loud Russ's jumper is. That's what it is.
I'm literally messaging Lee going, is that me? Is that me?
I'm kind of rustling through, and
I saw that. To be honest, it came up on
through.
It came up on my PC. The host has muted your mic. Thought, well, that tells a story.
No. I'm just trying to find the noise.
I know. It's okay. So we can hug it out later. It's all right.
We've been much nicer to Anir than we were to Lee.
Well,
yeah, this is very true. I do have feelings.
Sensible.
I am a human being. He's back. Here he is.
He's
You're
back.
from Yorkshire. You'll be fine.
Right. I want to do some Christmas football memories, whatever they may be for everybody. I have to say, whenever I get asked about this, my go-to answer is a particular girl that I was dating, and her sister's partners at the time lying to me about going to an Ipswich-Chelsea game so they could go to the pub, not cueing me in on this story. They just wanted to go drinking all day, frankly. And then me at the end of it going, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And in the end, they told me, Ben, we weren't at the game. We've been in the pub all day. We just wanted the afternoon off. And I don't know if they ever found out the truth. We're going back a long way. I do also remember attempting 2 games in one day. I did Brentford and Swansea, and then I was at Reading and QPR in the same day.
What a martyr for that distance. That's nothing. That's nothing.
Hey, would you believe?
Hang on. Let me say it.
All in the same day.
Let me say it. That's nothing compared to your Easter trip.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
That was fantastic. I will give you full credit for that.
I'm never doing that. That was Sheffield United versus Forest at 12:30 and Norwich versus, and that is a rank drive across that way. Yeah. No motorways at all. That was rubbish. Believe me,
I'll give you credit. I've already said I'll give you credit. You don't need to.
I only had about 5 minutes to spare doing
Russ is needy.
Brentford to QPR thing. Christmas football memories. Can I have a hand up? Has anyone got anything specific for me? Go on, Lee Pitts. Get comfortable, everybody.
Take your pew, lads. It might be a long one. Stick your microwave on for your mince pies. So, because it popped up, and I do remember this, back in 1990, when some of you don't remember, and some of you may not have been born, Anir. So, back in 1990,
What's that?
Dave Bassett was the manager of Sheffield United. We were in Division 1, I think it was, not the Premier League, and we'd gone 16 games without a win. 16 games. We got 4 points. And we played Notts Forest at home. A certain Roy Keane played for Nottingham Forest. We went 1-up. We went 2-1 down. And then Brian Dean scored the winner, and we won.
I knew there was going to be a Brian Dean mention.
Of course, he's the greatest player of all time. So
just need Dave to mention Roy Wegerle, and we are sorted for all of our normal mentions.
So
yeah?
we won our first game after 17 games, and then went on a magnificent run, which effectively from the second half of the season would have made us 4th or 3rd in the Premier League. Because I remember we beat Arsenal at home, we beat Chelsea at home. Chelsea had Dennis Wise, I remember that, and yeah, we were absolutely fabulous. And because of that, that's why the next year and the season after, Dave Bassett used to hold Christmas parties at Bramall Lane in August, because he said we only ever started playing in December. So, and interestingly, I was listening to an old United player from that time, Ian Bryson, a very quietly spoken Scottish man. And if you watch the United series, which you can watch on YouTube, they made a documentary about United. It was called United. And they followed us the season. Yeah, novel. They followed us the season that we got promoted from Division 2, and my illustrious neighbours got relegated on the same day that we got promoted. And they said to him the other day, they said, "What? How did you settle in?" And he was a naive Scotsman who didn't really know life. He'd never really experienced anything. And he said they went to Sweden, and he said to keep it clean. He said he was warned about Wally Downs. Now, if you know Wally Downs,
yeah, I know Wally.
Bit of a character. And he said they were in Sweden, and he pressed the lift, and he opened the door, and he said, and Dave Bassett's bedroom was in the lift. His entire room was in the lift, and that's the cleanest story that you can possibly tell involving Wally Downs. Yes. An absolutely beautiful moment. And I remember being there and Dean scoring that goal and United going on an amazing run. And it just shows you that, interestingly enough, and I do think this about Norwich, that I don't think Norwich are a bad football team. I don't think they're bad players. I think football is about 80% confidence. And I don't think we are. And I think Norwich, with a bit of, hey, you're good enough, and you might just make it. You may not, but you've got a chance. In the same way, we might make the playoffs.
Which is why Dean Smith is a good manager. Because Russ, if he has brought that belief that you talk about, as Lee's saying there, that's what could make the difference.
Yep.
Can I just on Wally Downs? That same game, I saw Marcus Force score for AFC Wimbledon. Wally Downs was working, and I was sat not far behind. That was a revealing 90 minutes.
Ben, you'll know this because you've got a better knowledge than me. But didn't Wally Downs allegedly? I thought I read in the
Here we go. I'm on the mute button, everybody. Don't worry.
Yeah. Allegedly, I read that. Didn't Wally Downs have some involvement in some sort of betting scam with football game results? Allegedly.
I've got no idea.
And he's not touching it with a barge pole.
Absolutely.
Very,
it doesn't matter whether I touch it or not if it's going down my channel, Russell. I'm still
allegedly.
I'm still implicated.
But they were the days, because basically Dave Bassett, who you got to think, but this is the late 80s, 90s. Sheffield is not the place; it's not the cosmopolitan metropolis that it quite is now. And you have this guy from the south with a very southern accent coming to Sheffield, changing the landscape, and that's when I fell in love. And if you ask most Blades, there was a poll. Bassett was voted our greatest ever manager. And I think, and even I have that with Wild. I look back, but what Dave Bassett did, and he brought the crazy gang to Sheffield because we had no money, we had chairman on the run, and it was just the most fascinating time I can think in football.
What I'm curious about is each morning, does Dave think about Roy Wegerle or Lee think about Dave Bassett first?
Dave Bassett every time. I'm up at 5. You know, I've got a picture. I messaged the group, so I've got a map. I've got a map of Helsinki, and the other one is Dave Bassett.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. Anyone else got any Christmas football memories that don't involve Dave Harry Bassett?
Beautiful. No.
Right. I'll give you
go
what
on, Russell.
I've got.
Go on.
I'll give you what I've got, because last night I turned around and I sat down and I tried to go through as much as I could, and I looked at the equivalent of 68 games over a festive period in the league, which I've defined as the 19th of December to the 3rd of January.
Research.
Yeah, I say in terms of it, defining as the 19th of December to the 3rd of January, Norwich City have played since 2002. That's the date that I became interested in football. 68 games. They have won 15 at home, drawn 7 at home, lost 12. Away from home, they've won 11, drawn 13, and lost 10. I have had to suffer in that time. A dreadful 3-0 loss to Spurs, which was in December 2015, but nothing will ever beat having to sit there.
Did Gareth Bale score that brilliant goal?
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there for that one thing.
Do you remember that word, Gareth?
No,
Bale
that was a
different
different Boxing Day. Thank you for that. That was a different.
He's available for bar mitzvahs and Christmas.
He loved Norwich, Gareth Bale, Russ, didn't he?
Yep. Bale, Suarez, I just give up. I genuinely, when that happened, I just give up.
You don't know suffering.
Oh yeah, I'll take your Suarez and go Nugent, and that's embarrassing, isn't it?
There is a suffering. I had to sit through 90 minutes of Norwich City versus Burton.
Oh,
at the Pirelli, December 2017.
That's not a euphemism, by the way.
No. It was the worst game of football I have ever seen. On the terrace, I stood, but it was the worst game of football I have ever witnessed. Both teams, I think, made about 10 changes because obviously, I think it was like it was just before New Year's Day or something like that, and it was dreadful. And
if you're talking about rubbish football, shouldn't we be bringing John in at this point?
We get to that. That's on the good list. We'll get to that. That's on the good list.
The elephant in the room.
I've got a list.
There's a good list.
Birmingham on Boxing Day, John.
But literally, like I say, this thing, and there was 2 things that I remember from it: watching Marley Watkins try and play football because he is I'm going to say he's one of the worst. No, he is the worst.
Can we get Anir's view on Marley Watkins, Bristol City legend?
We conned them for £1 million. That is the best deal Webber has ever achieved.
I think Emi Buendia for whatever pittance they spent on him.
To receive money for Marley Watkins after what I witnessed, in terms of that as a performance, he was dreadful.
Do you know, Russ? He was at Cardiff for about 3 weeks, and Big Mick bombed him out.
He scored 2, didn't he, in one game?
In that League Cup game, did he? Yeah. Marley Watkins was good for Bristol City, wasn't he, Anir?
Yeah.
Ben, don't even start me on Marley Watkins. John, do you want to write that on the Mark Ashton?
Is that a Mark Ashton classic? That one.
Jesus.
He doesn't have
like I say, we received actual money for him. That's all I have to say.
Bless him.
The fact that
Booming money as well.
We paid nearly £1 million for him.
Where from?
I'll say no more.
From us.
Oh, back.
That's why I say
yeah.
They bought. We got him on a free from Barnsley, and couldn't understand why Barnsley had released him. And we're sitting there.
Barnsley. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm getting.
He
with
was
the
good
program
there.
now.
He was good there.
Well, that's it. He must be a hecking bottom if he was at Barnsley, mustn't he?
Hey!
He must be,
Stop it now. Yeah.
That Barnsley team was quality with Hurahan and Bree and
Bart Roberts.
I'm trying to think who else. And Mark Roberts was decent there, John. He used to top all their headed kick-it stats, didn't he? John, do you remember that game in the late 90s? So it was definitely Ipswich definitely lost 1-0 to Birmingham on Boxing Day. And I remember it was classic Ipswich. The stadium was completely full. And whenever the stadium's anywhere near full, Ipswich will, without fail, crap their pants and lose the home game. Do you not remember that?
You didn't lose at the weekend, did you?
No, nearly 30,000 in there, Russ, at the weekend.
Yeah,
for Christ's sake.
Sorry. One
Yeah,
second.
but if you sell it for
Ask,
£1,
why was that? Why?
There was a ticket. There was a
Mark
ticket. There was it was all down to Mark Ashton, wasn't it? He sold all the
Legend.
tickets himself. There was a ticket promotion, and then the Ipswich fans, as they like to do, being the wondrous virtuous people that they are, decided to buy up lots of tickets to give away to homeless people and schools and
right.
And
can I
whatnot.
say as well? There is a rumor around Sheffield, and you speak to Wendy fans.
Is this
and I
going to be
don't
libelous
understand-
as well, Lee?
No.
Allegedly. He said it's a
Allegedly.
rumour. It's a rumour.
Even though we have the highest average attendance in the championship, and we've
Did Sheffield
averaged.
United do
I
that?
mean, so I don't know. We averaged.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. We have
tell you that.
27,500.
Really?
But,
Wow.
but yeah. But typically it's 28. It's 28,500. So the attendances are only down based on the away fans. And you speak to any Wednesday fan, and for some reason they say, "Oh, you give free tickets to schools." What are you talking about? There are 10,000 school children come to Bramwell Lane. What are you talking about? The most bitter, underrated, overrated little football club on the planet. Anyway,
To be fair, Lee, I've been to Wednesday a couple of times for Wednesday United games, and it's been full. There haven't been very good games, to be fair, and it was really loud in there. I'll give them that.
Yeah, no, they are loud, but it's I don't know. It's just fueled by envy and bitterness and regret. That's all it is. And I do remember a side story when Neil Warnock became our manager. Wednesday we're far more successful. They had a period. It's cyclic, and Wednesday were the better team for a long time. And when Warnock joined, he did say, he said, my number one goal is to make sure that we are the number one club in Sheffield. And we were a long way away from that. And that's what he achieved. And despite all his faults, Warnock, that's one thing I'll hold up and I'll say, you know what, that's what he did. He put him in the place, a bit like Norwich and, well, no, I don't know. Do they have a rival? Anyway, never mind.
Not for the last 10 years, no. John, I was at the Blues Villa game where the Blues fan punched Grealish. That was white hot. Is that always like that because Russ and I were both at the other game, and it was kind of jovial and nice but loud, wasn't it? But that Birmingham Villa at Birmingham City is scary, isn't it?
It always is at St Andrews. It's not so much at Villa Park. Not anymore. I went to the first couple back in the early 2000s at Villa Park, and that was fairly hairy. But yeah, no. Blues Villa at Blues is always it's tasty, shall we say?
Would that have been the Enkelman one?
No, Enkelman was at St Andrews.
Yeah, I know that. I know that was St Andrews, but I'm just saying, was when you said that you went to for the first couple? That.
Yeah, because the first one at Villa Park was when Dublin headbutted Savage.
Yeah,
and got sent off.
It's understandable, though, isn't it?
Still a hero. You have to stick up for your fellow long-haired people. I'm sorry, you've got to turn
We're all the same. Exactly, we're all the same, all of us.
Robbie Savage is a legend.
He was good. He was damn good for Birmingham, wasn't he? Any other Christmas memories? Who haven't we gone to? Dave, Pete, Anir.
If no one's coming, I'll finish my good ones if I'm allowed.
I do have one. I do have one that involves QPR.
We'll go to John, and then we'll come back to you, Russ. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a good one, but on Boxing Day in 2006, St Andrews, we had the 100-year anniversary and you played QPR, and we did win 2-1. Cameron Jerome scored, and it was the most rubbish game of football I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, probably didn't have the best team at that point, though, John.
Nor did we. we did get promoted, I think.
Who's the manager then? McLeish?
That would have been the 8. No, that would have been the 8-9 season, wouldn't it? Sorry, 9-10 season.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think.
Can
it was
I
Bruce.
say
Brucey.
I have a certain respect for Birmingham City because
Sorry, 8-9.
there is an element of misery when they come to the lane that I sort of associate with, and I sort of think I know where you're coming from. We both live
Big cities.
far enough south, and it's
Yeah.
a little bit grim, and none of us are happy. None of us are really happy, and we escape to the football, and even the football's rubbish as well. And so even our utopian escape for a little bit of joy for 5 minutes, and you go, how did you cheer yourself up at the weekend? I went to go watch Birmingham City.
Well, at least you've got a full stadium open that you can
Well,
go
yeah,
to.
there is that. We have got
They get 27,000 all the time, apparently.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
we've got to wrap up soon. Russ, go with your
Good.
Christmas memories.
So I've got 2 that I was able to go to, and 1 that I had to endure in the living room at the in-laws. In terms of so,
were you drunk, Russ?
One.
You were, weren't you?
no, I wasn't. I had to drive. No, I had to drive.
Whatever. I
'Cause
don't
we
believe
left.
this story
We left
already.
straight after. So anyway, so the one was against
Allegedly.
Birmingham. One was against Birmingham in 17-18. That was Boxing Day. That was the 2-0. It was one of the worst games to turn around and go and watch. I think Birmingham were bottom at the time. We were just hovering over the relegation zone. That was Farker's first season, and we'd managed to turn around and get a 2-0 win. My favourite attending game was a New Year's Day game against QPR, and it was. I wonder if Dave can remember it. The game that Barton scored, and then he got sent off for the old.
That narrows it down, Russ.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he scored, and then he got sent off against us for the old Bradley Johnson. Bradley Johnson wound him up. We ended up winning 2-1.
That wasn't a fair fight, Russ, was it?
And Bradley Johnson then went, obviously, the Norwich team then went to the darts, and he turns around and there's a picture somewhere out there. You can Google it. And he obviously holds up his board, because obviously the darts, you do what you want. And it just says, Barton, your breath stinks.
Oh.
And like I say, brilliant away day in terms
You're
of
animals
of
in
what
those,
that one was.
absolute animals.
But I wouldn't argue with Bradley Johnson. I'm not going to lie. And then the other one was the one I was around the in-laws is the Forest 3-3. When we're 3-0 down. 3-0 down. I think it's 15 minutes to go. Maybe it might be 16. I might have done this an injustice. 16 minutes in terms of it. And obviously it comes back, and I'm in the living room. I'm sulking like an absolute diva.
I can believe this.
You're top of the
Boxing
league
Day,
at this point.
Boxing. No, we were second, I think.
Oh, first world problems at it.
Leeds were top at Christmas, but Leeds were losing with a minute to go, and then they.
Oh, you both won, didn't you? Yeah, I remember.
And they won, so I'm sat there soaking like an absolute, I'm not going to swear, but like absolutely soaking like a diva, and turn round, and obviously one goes in, you're like, yeah, all right. Second one goes in the 94th minute, you think, yeah, all right. They show a highlight of Steeperman just booting one over the into the river end, and you just sit there and think that's game gone. All they've got to do is take a proper goal kick, and it's game done. And obviously, there's a brilliant YouTube clip. Jeff Stelling, obviously, and he goes, goal at Carrow Road, and all it does is the actual score clips onto Norwich as 3-3. So obviously I just erupt at the thing and make myself look a right pillock in front of everyone, just screaming the house down that we've equalised. And everyone else is just looking at me like a complete weirdo. So that's probably, considering that was one I didn't go to, that's probably the best.
I've got a QPR related story to that game as well. And Dave will know exactly where I'm referring to, because that was obviously our abject relegation record-breaking terrible season. So we went to QPR. I don't know if you can remember it, Dave. We must have lost 2-0. It might even have been 3-0. Yeah. We were absolutely rubbish. And Grant Ward, poor guy, busted his cruciate ligament. And I was walking out the ground and I refreshed my phone. Imagine how depressed I am. Refreshed my phone. Norwich won, Nottingham Forest 3. And you're like, oh, they've lost. They've literally won every week for the last 3 months, They've lost. And then I refreshed it again 5 minutes later. I remember my exact words. It said Norwich 2, Forest 3. And I said, they're definitely going to equalise. They are 100%. And I think like you said, they're 94 or something. And I'm
94 and then 98.
Genuinely, Russ, I was like, I don't want to, you flip up your phone to refresh. I don't want to refresh it. It's going to say 3-3. Watch this. I think the guy I was with, I don't think we even said it. It was just like, whatever. I hate football. I'm never going again. Football sucks. It's the absolute worst. But there we go. Boys, absolutely brilliant stuff. Pete and Anir, we haven't heard from you for a while. Any last words? Any Christmas memories from you two, Pete, Anir?
I've got one.
Yes.
We lost 3-2 away at Charlton through a Macaulay Bonne double, which is brilliant.
Love Macaulay Bonne.
He scored first, I think it was the 40th minute. We took the lead through Nicholas Eliasson on 60.
He was good.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then we sold him. Mark Ashton.
Legend.
Every time.
And then Macaulay Bonne equalises, and then Alfie Doherty, the guy who plays for,
he now, isn't he? Yeah.
Scores the winner on 82. I just remember seeing the away end, just stood there like this. I saw about 3 people in the away and just stood like this. I'm like, oh, here we go.
And all the others leaving, Annie, yeah.
Good, yeah. Near the exit at the back, yeah. It was not good, not funny.
Oh, tremendous stuff. Pete, any last word from you, my friend?
No, I just think we should give a vote of thanks to Anir. Fantastic debut.
What a legend.
I think you'll get 90 minutes next time.
Can you imagine
knowing the outages as well?
But can you imagine knowing that much about football at that age as well? Absolutely tremendous, yeah. Thank you everybody for joining. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube. We're gonna pop this up. If you want to subscribe on Patreon, look, go for it. I think the lowest tier is like £3 or something.
Come and join us.
Come and join us. Look, you can see we're just a bunch of guys, that love our football and meet up every month to talk about it. And obviously, I thank these guys profusely for supporting. But we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. John, goodbye from you, please, sir.
Goodbye, all. Merry Christmas.
Dave, goodbye from you. You super hoop.
Goodbye. Have a great Christmas, everyone.
Absolutely, and love to your mother as well, Dave. And Pete.
Yeah, same from me. Merry Christmas to you all. Really enjoyed this tonight. Thank you.
Anir, see if you can say goodbye without mentioning your favourite bearded West Midlands CEO.
I can't claim CEO on West Midlands. Sorry.
I can't do this. I'm sorry. Goodbye, everyone. Have a Merry Christmas.
Lee Pitts, can you say goodbye in less than 4 minutes?
Do it. Just do it.
Just
do 4 minutes. Just do 4 minutes. Not his own fault. Just do 4 minutes.
I'm going to struggle. Get involved, everybody. They're a good bunch of human beings, except for us. But get involved. It's good fun. And the good news is you get to speak to me. So
Russell, you're going to get the last word in the whole thing here. Say goodbye, my friend.
It's Christmas.
There we go. He's channeling his inner noddy holder. Outstanding. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is the Patreon Christmas special. Do join up. It's a really good community we've got here. Thank you to all you guys for joining me. And I don't know what day we're going to... This might even go up on... No one will watch it on Christmas Day. We'll put it up on Christmas Eve.
No, that's the whole point, Ben.
Stop it. Dear me. Right, thank you everybody for watching. I'll say over and out. You can wave if you want, like the Brady bunch. There we go. Oh, that's a good still, that one. And we'll see you all soon.